When I was in high school, there were a couple of options from where to buy breakfast in the morning. Many of the boys waited, and we had to wait outside the store. There was a little bagel store across the street from the yeshiva, which sold bagels and muffins and cookies. And it was such an amazing aroma because everything was so fresh that you were smelling it from outside. So it was worth the wait, even if you took up 15, 20 minutes of your breakfast time, which was a half an hour altogether, to get into the bagel store. But while you were online, there was this entertainment. The entertainment was one of the men behind the counter who served was this older man, and his name was Simon. Now, Simon was classic for being very particular about how he served things. But Simon would always have a joke to say. And although he was slow in how he served, he would have something that would make everyone laugh and make you want to wait to hear him every day. And very often, when Simon was asked, Simon, are the bagels or are the muffins fresh? Right after they came out of the oven. And he would say, they're from before the war. Nobody wants to go into a store and buy something that's not fresh. In our parsha, there was a miracle having to do with bread and being fresh, and that is the lechem haponim, which is called the showbread, that was placed on the shulchan, on the table. And the miracle with this lechem haponim was that it stayed fresh for an entire week, for 8 days, until it was finally eaten at that time when it was replaced. And the Imrei Emes explains to us that it was called the lechem hapanim, panim meaning face, because each person, when looking at that bread, was able to see their own face. Well, what does that mean? It means that when they looked at the bread, they were able to see inside of themselves. They were able to see the level of their faith. If one looked at the bread and in their mind saw bread that was fresh, bread that looked crispy, then that's in essence what they experienced, how the bread was to them. But if a person came and was sort of had a negative attitude and says, oh, come on, this isn't fresh bread, and they looked at the showbread, the lechem hapanim, it would appear to them as not being fresh. And ultimately, the Imrei Emes says that this is really a lesson for us about our attitude with regards to what we see in life. When we look at something and we're looking for the positive in something, ultimately, if we search for that which is fresh, if we search for that which is good and positive, we will be able to find in the item that we are searching for that which is positive. But if we are going to something, a scenario, an item, and we already have an attitude which is negative, assuming the worst, then what we see is really a reflection of what we're feeling and what we're thinking inside of ourselves. And he says that that is the reason that the lechem hapanim, the showbread, was called lechem bread, representing the sustenance of a human being, of the panim, of the face. So when we talk about our own sustenance, we talk about our spiritual sustenance, our emotional sustenance, so much of that is tied into our attitude, into how we see scenarios, how we see other people, how we experience situations. And if we look at situations and search in order to find the positive, reflecting that which was within us emotionally, we will be able to find the positive. But if we fail to do so, then we will fail at being able to see the positive that may be fresh before our eyes. May we all search for the positive and experience the true inner beauty within ourselves. Thank you for listening and have a good Shabbos.